continuing our series today on fam, and so today is the last week of this series, and we've been really talking about how we relate to our family specifically over the past 3 weeks. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to talk about how friends actually can become like family, and I think some of you know this, and some of you understand this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just start off with a clip from Frozen 2. All right, and I'm sure some of you are going to know this. And what I want you to notice, that in Frozen 2, how close these friendships are, and think about those friendships and how those friendships are even like family throughout this movie and throughout everything that's going on. So we'll play this clip, and we'll enjoy it for a few minutes, and then I'll come back up.
You're older and
So y'all will sing along. I'm impressed. And I said I was going to play Frozen 2, and some of you are like, ugh, but then by the end, everybody looked like y'all were thoroughly enjoying that, all right? I'm just saying. You're like, you would never admit it, but, you know, some things will never change. See what I did there? All right, but anyway, why in the world would I play a video like that? Because hopefully, like I said before, you saw the relationships. You saw that friendships can truly become like family. I mean, and just a second. When friendships become like family, it seems like sometimes when family is going crazy, you always have that friendship to balance it out. Yes? Elsa kind of looked lonely. Maybe a little bit. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen Frozen 2, okay, to be honest. But I knew about that clip, and I knew about the friendships there. So, yeah, I guess you'd have to go to Disney Plus and watch the whole thing. Is it on Disney Plus? Yeah. See? Told you. All right, watch the whole thing. And but what about friendships? I mean, friendships, when you think about them, how many of you would say you honestly have a friendship that you would consider like family? Like family. Okay, we got a lot. And so that's great, yeah. I mean, friendships that are like family. That is the person that you go to no matter what. That's the person who might drive you crazy sometimes. You don't completely understand. But it's the person that you always go to even when the time seems like it's crazy, okay? And it's the best friend. And that best friend is like family. Now, see, we all come from different types of family. And we've talked about this throughout this semester, you know. Not semester. Oh, wow, I went to school there for a second. Throughout this series, okay? And we've been talking about all of this and trying to figure out how in the world do I balance out my crazy family with the life that I'm living, and how do I do this all to glorify God? That's what this series has been all about. So now we're taking today and we're looking, how in the world does my friends fit into this family? Because I think friendships are very important. I think every single person should have a best friend. Like, you need that. You need that person you can go to and talk to no matter what. They understand the life that you're living, and a lot of times they understand the life that you're living a little bit better than maybe your parents would, okay? Some of you would agree with that, because they're experiencing some of the same things. They understand some of the same people that are around you and that go to school with you and live life with you, and they are, you know, they're always there. And so a friend is a very important person. A friend can influence you. A friend can, you know, hurt you, just like a family can hurt you. A friend can lift you up. A friend can be positive. And we have to be very smart about who we're choosing to be our best friends and what friends are becoming like family. Because friends is a loose term, right? I mean, a lot of things use like, hey, you can add this from social media. You just add a friend. A lot of times, it may not even be somebody you know. You know, you just add a friend. Yeah, I've seen that person before. I saw them walking the other day in Walmart. Yeah, I'm a friend, okay? And so, like, you know, those type, we use the term loosely. Friends can be all different types of people. It's like the word love. I mean, we use love for everything, right? You know, hey, I love you as a person. I love you, my parents and my wife. I love them. That's one type of love. But then I also love New Way hot dogs, okay? All right, New Way hot dogs. Anybody ever had a New Way hot dog? All right, there we go. Okay, if you've had a New Way hot dog, you know what I mean when I say I love a New Way hot dog, all right? Because it's really good. A lot of people don't eat them because they're bright red, okay? I know it's a little strange, but I love them, and New Way all the way without onion. The onion's kind of strong sometimes. But anyway, but we say things like that. We use the term loosely. We use the term love. We use the term friend. Oh yeah, that's my friend, and maybe we've only had one conversation with them. That's not the same type of friend that we're really talking about. When we say family, we understand that term, right? Like that's the family that we've been born into, or the family that raises, the family that's our legal guardians, the people that really care about us are our family. And so I think that friends, in a way, best friends, fall into the family category, and I think you understand what I mean. I think that you know that your family would include some of your friends. And so when it comes to you deciding, okay, who's going to be my friend? What are we going to talk about? What are the things we're going to do? That's a very important relationship. That's a very important person to have in your life. Because they're going to give you the advice. They're going to help you out. They are going to live life with you. All right? And that's an important phrase, because living life with you, when you are having a tough time, they are there. When they are having a tough time, you are there. You're living life together. You understand what it means when they're struggling with something in school, and yet they understand what it means when you actually like somebody that you might have a crush on. They're that person that you can talk to and you can go to, and they understand you more than anyone else. That's your best friend. And that's the person that has a lot of influence in your life. So when it comes to your best friend, you have to make choices that are kind of tough sometimes. Now, I'm going to tell you today that those relationships are extremely important. Every single one of us should have those type of relationships. Now, one of the things I notice with students is that when those relationships, we don't think all the time that person's important. Have you ever taken a friend for granted? A person that, they're going to be my friend no matter what I say or what I do. I can just kid with them all the time. They don't care. If you do that constantly, what ends up happening to that friendship? It breaks, right? It hurts it. And if a friend starts doing it to us, that best friend, it hurts. It's tough. And those friendships hurt. Another situation I see a lot of teenagers do, and this is really, really important. This one drives me crazy as a youth pastor, all right? I see best friends, especially girls, okay? So girls, I'm really talking to you, all right? Girls. So girls, I see you all the time. You are best friends or something. You've been best friends with like somebody since y'all were like this, okay? Maybe even smaller, all right? And you're like, y'all spend all the time together, weekends together, all this kind of stuff. Then one of you get a boyfriend. What happens to that? Like, it irritates me. I see these best friends in a relationship. One of them gets a boyfriend, and what happens to this best friend relationship? What in the world? Girls, it's not worth it. I promise you that. All right? Best friends, have your best friends, then worry about the boys. As a matter of fact, don't even worry about the boys. Just forget about them until you're actually ready to get married when you're 45, all right? All right? Spoken like a true parent of a middle schooler. All right? That's what a boyfriend is, right? Like, ultimately, girls, you understand that. That's a person that you're thinking I could potentially marry. So if that person don't meet that qualification, don't date them. And definitely don't let them mess up with that friendship that you have, all right? That best friend is extremely important, all right? Because I see it all the time. You start dating that boy, or guys, I'll talk to you too. If you start dating that girl, all right, and you leave, and then y'all are like isolated, y'all forget everybody else, and then what happens in a year? Maybe a year. It's usually 2 weeks, but a year, all right? All right? What happens in a year? They break up. Well, when you break up after a year, what happens to the friendship? You come back to that best friend, and you're like, hey, I want to hang out again, da-da-da. Start texting them, and that best friend's like, hey, I'm done. I've already moved on. I've got another best friend. Or they went and found them a boyfriend. All right? So, you know, that was just a little pet peeve there. Think about this stuff. Don't lose a friend over a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. All right? Don't do that. That words of wisdom from Jim Gray. Okay? That's where that came from. So now let's talk about the Bible for a second. All right? The Bible. The Bible has all types of families in it. We see that. We have talked about David, and we talked about how David's relationship, y'all remember a few weeks ago I talked about David's relationship with King Saul, and after he defeated Goliath and all that type of stuff, and how Saul wanted to kill him. Y'all remember that? And so we talked about that, and so we're going to continue with David's life here. Saul had a son also. His name was Jonathan, all right? Jonathan was literally best friends with David. Best friends. Now, you know, when David came, after he defeated Goliath there, he had this time to where Saul liked him. Saul wanted him around. Saul, you know, was like, hey, come on in, live in my family, you know, be my son's best friend. And that was great. They formed this friendship. This friendship, David and Jonathan, they hung out together. This friendship was best friends. Okay? But then Saul didn't like David anymore. Matter of fact, Saul became so jealous of David that he wanted to kill him. Y'all remember we talked about this? And we talked about how Saul literally went around trying to find David, to kill David. Well, guess what happens throughout this whole time? David and Jonathan continue to talk to each other, and they continue to be best friends. Behind, now I'm not really promoting it like this, okay? Behind Saul's back, okay? You know, if your parents are telling you not to be friends with someone, they probably are very smart. But if your parents are trying to kill your best friend, then you can still be friends with them. All right? So we'll keep it there, okay? All right? So, but Jonathan and David were best friends. Jonathan and David were the type of guys that, you know, they hung out together. They knew who each other liked. You know, they knew all the things going on in each other's lives. I mean, they were best friends. They were so good of friends. See, like David had already left his family. Jonathan really, when his dad starts trying to attack Saul, he's not really hanging out with his dad too much. And I mean, a little bit with the army and that, you know, political stuff. But then David and Jonathan keep this friendship going, because they ultimately become the only family each other have at this time. And they're able to talk to each other and really just, could you imagine that though? Like David talking to Jonathan, yeah, your dad tried to kill me again today. You know, he found me, you know, he found the cave I was in. I had to go to this other cave. And especially the story when Saul comes into the cave and David has a chance to kill him and doesn't, and I bet that was awkward. But anyway, you see the point. They were best friends. They were the best friends throughout this whole thing. And I want to look today in 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 3. Okay, and I want you to see kind of this friendship in this verse and how this verse is just kind of set up. And Jonathan made a solemn pact with David because he loved him as he loved himself. That's the friendship they had. I mean, have you ever made them pacts with your best friend like, hey, we will do this for the rest of our lives? You know, and you have these pacts. That's what happened here, and this was a pact that was a friendship that lasted way more, I mean, even beyond family. We need to have those friends in our lives. God has designed each and every one of us. All right, guys, y'all got to chill with the talking there, okay? All right. Each and every one of us has been designed by God to have other people in our lives, to have best friends in our lives. We need people in our lives that we can talk to, that we can relate to, that we can live life with on a daily basis. That are truly our family, but maybe not by birth. You understand? They are truly our family, our best friends, because they understand us. They get us. it's hard to talk to your parents sometimes. It's hard to talk to siblings sometimes. But if you have that best friend, then you always will have someone that you can talk to. And so I want to encourage you to do that. Think about your best friend. What kind of goals do y'all have together? Hopefully your goal is like, hey, I want to love Jesus first, and, how can you help me do that? I love it when I see best friends, like, doing Bible studies together. Like you're like, best friends on YouVersion and communicating back and forth and sharing each other's stuff. Because when you're starting to do that, you're starting to help them with their relationship with Christ, and they're starting to help you with your relationship with Christ. And then when you start having doubts, you have somebody you can talk to about it. Because doubts are coming. Whether or not, they're going to happen. You're going to question what you believe. That's going to happen. Why do I believe in Jesus Christ? What makes Jesus better than anyone else? How do I know Jesus is who he says he is? And if you have someone who's gone through all of the same stuff that you've gone through and understands your life, then you'll always have somebody that can talk to you about it. And I think that relationship is huge. All right? It's huge. That friendship is a huge relationship in your life. So, in thinking about that, who do you have that's your best friend? What do you do for that person, and what are they doing for you? What kind of relationship is there? Now, you're saying, well, I really don't have a best friend. I'm just kind of a loner. I want to encourage you to do something. I know that some of us have different personalities of like, I don't really want to be friends with a bunch of people because a lot of people scare me. I understand that because that's kind of my personality, okay? I don't really want to be up in front of everybody. You're saying, Jim, you're on stage. Yes, but I promise you this. I don't like this, okay? I do this because it's my job, and I feel like that I can communicate, and I try to do my best. But I don't necessarily like it, especially with video cameras around. That really freaks me out, okay? All right, but we do this. I do this because I know it's important. I do this because I love Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ has put me here, okay? And but when you are trying to separate yourself from all the people around you, then that's not healthy for you. God didn't design you that way. So I want to encourage you, if you don't have that best friend, if you don't have someone that is your true friend, find someone. Seek them out. Make it a little bit uncomfortable for you to find someone that you can be a best friend to and that they can be a best friend to you. Okay? And I want you to think about that because God has designed each and every one of us. Like we should want to live life with other people. God's designed us to love, to be about other people, not just to be about ourselves. And so if God's designed us all to be that way, yes, we're all different. We all do it differently, but he's designed each and every one of us to love people and to love each other. Then we need to make sure that we are having relationships in our life. And I'm not just talking about boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. I'm talking about true friendships. We need to find those people and be a friend and then to have a friend. Because I think that relationship, that friendship can get you through whatever tough time is coming. Because there is a tough time coming. Every one of us will experience different things. Every one of us is going to have someone betray us. Every single one of us are going to have someone, do something to hurt us. We might experience death in our family. You never know what it is. And to have a friend that's there standing by your side, that's helping you through everything, that's how God has set it up. And so I want you to seek that person out. We're going to go into small groups tonight, and we're going to talk about our friendships, and we're going to talk about those different things. And so I want you to think about this. Who is a friend in your life that could be a part of your family? That's part of your fam, as the series has said. Who's that person that you are tight with, that you are able to have those honest conversations with, that you're able to just basically tell anything to, and you trust them, and they trust you? And, who is that? I want you to think about that, okay? And like I said, we're going to come back tonight, and we're going to have our small group time and hopefully get a chance to discuss this with some of our friends. Because hopefully your small group is also some of your best friends. The people you go to church with, the people that you hang out with, and the people that you're getting to know. Now, we haven't had a lot of time together, so I know that some of these new friendships are not quite family yet, but some of these friendships that you're developing in here, maybe they will become that friendship that is like family. I mean, that's what we're all about here. We want to build each other up. We want to love each other in a way that we are truly living life together. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for these students. Thank you for letting us come today and to be able to talk about our friends. And not in a bad way, God, but just be able to talk about the type of friends that we have. God, there's so many different people represented in here. Some of us have that best friend. And God, that person that we can go to. And God, I pray for those relationships, those friendships, that they will stay strong. And that you will be in the middle of that friendship, God. And God, I just pray for some of the other people in here. Maybe they don't have that best friend. But God, that you will send that person in their life that they can trust and trust enough to be a best friend too. And to have a best friend. God, I just pray for that. Because God, you have set it up in our lives so that we can live life together. And God, just lead the way for each and every one of us. In your name I pray. Amen.